Hello, everybody. I'm Kyle Kramer, the CEO of the Earth and Spirit Center. I'm joined by one of our senior faculty members, Karen Newton. Hi, Karen.
Good morning.
Karen, we are going to talk in this brief video about our upcoming free workshops, our free intro to meditation workshops. We've done these for years as a way to invite folks into the Earth and Spirit community, for one, and to just get to know a little bit about what mindfulness is. Mindfulness has become much more popular and well known these days in the corporate sector, in the wellness sector, and as the spiritual discipline that it's been for thousands of years. And so we're going to have these 60-minute workshops that invite folks to learn a little bit more about what mindfulness is, where it comes from, what it's about, maybe a little bit how to practice as a kind of a foretaste of some of the more deep instruction that we're going to be able to offer in subsequent courses. So I wonder if we could start by giving the viewers here of this video just a little bit of background about you as a teacher. You've been with us for many, many years. Can you say just a word about who you are as an instructor and as a fellow human being?
Yeah, I'd be glad to. How to stuff my whole life into one sentence is I had been curious about contemplative practices for a long, long time, raised in a faith tradition that taught me how to pray. But it was only in my late 20s that I started looking for some other way of gaining a different sense of stability and connection with my life. So I am indeed a practitioner of the tradition that we call mindfulness or insight or Vipassana tradition, which gives me great delight to share because it was such a life altering discovery for me to find there are these forms of practice that support those endeavors.
Right. And I mean, as you say, you're a decades-long practitioner. You're
Yes.
a certified mindfulness teacher. You've taught at the University of Louisville for many, many years, retired from that, teaching staff and faculty. And as I said, I've been teaching with us for many years. One thing that you mentioned, you grew up in a position, in a tradition that taught you to pray. And I would want to be clear with everyone that while mindfulness and prayer are complementary, they're not the same thing. And from our perspective, I assume you agree that we don't require anyone to bring a particular set of
Right.
faith commitments, or mindfulness is able, even though it does come from recognizable religious traditions, it can also sit independently of those in kind of a secular context, or can complement someone's more specific religious practice. Is that fair to say? Is that your kind of understanding?
Absolutely. And in fact, one of the reasons that I enjoy doing these free intro workshops so much is that I get the opportunity to field questions from people who come who are concerned about what you just described. Is there going to be some conflict with my current prayer life? Or is there some expectation that I am dropping into some other form? And so we're able to kind of debunk all of that. No,
Okay.
these practices are without faith in any other tradition. They are so darn practical
Mhm.
that one can certainly adopt. And when I worked at a public university, the form of mindfulness meditation that I taught there was 100% secular.
Right. Well,
Uh,
what is it? The scriptural phrase, by their fruits you will know them. I mean, by the fruits of mindfulness practice, that's where the rubber actually hits the road. And it is a fruitful practice. I wonder if you can say, in again, a few sentences, what you hope folks can experience in this 60 minutes. Obviously, in 60 minutes, we can't teach folks to become regular meditators. There's more involved in establishing the habit of practice. But what can folks walk away with in that 1 hour?
Yeah, and what happens in these groups is that people learn and look around and see that there are people who are like them who have never set foot in any kind of a formal meditation training before. There are people who have stumbled around trying to, adopt a practice from an app. There are people who have actually had a lot of formal training. So people are coming to learn more about the Earth and Spirit Center. Some are coming, what is meditation? Some are overwhelmed with the amazing, beautiful choices on the website, and they
Mhm.
want help narrowing down, like, which course, should I start with? So
Mhm.
we get a whole range of questions that come up, and So I have the opportunity, along with some of the other staff, to present these workshops where we explain as best we can what meditation is, and then the various forms that we deliver training at the Earth and Spirit Center.
Mm-hmm.
I always include some practice time so people can realize I just experienced a form of practice. It took no more than 5 minutes, and it was doable. I
Right,
could do
right,
it. It was
right.
not
So,
overwhelmed. And that's kind of the goal. The other goal is the sense of community that immediately happens when people enter the barn and realize they're not the only ones. They're not the only ones looking. They're not the only ones who lost track of their practice. They're not the only ones who um, want to meditate in a group.
mhm. Well, I'm so glad you named that because, as you said, there's as mindfulness becomes more and more mainstream and well known, there are more and more apps, YouTube videos, online instructional sequences, and so forth to learn this, books, etc. None of which I would disparage, many of which I use, but there is something special about being able to gather in person, in community, particularly week after week, especially with a trained and qualified teacher such as yourself. So I'm so glad you bring that forward. And what I also heard in what you said, Karen, was that even if, I mean, obviously our hope is that we will pique someone's interest enough such that they will then want to invest more deeply in the Earth and Spirit community, in ongoing instruction. But even if they only came for this 160-minute session, they would walk away with a better understanding of what mindfulness is, and at least one or more kind of practical tips and tools to uh, implement that practice in their lives. With, again, the understanding that it's just a foretaste, but
Yes.
folks can benefit even from the single workshop.
Yes. And that is indeed the goal, that people come with their questions, leave with them answered, and with a sense of accessibility, that this is some place they can come back to and connect to. These are kind, patient practices. This is not a harsh environment of teaching.
Oh, I love that. Kind and patient practices. Let's end on that. So
Okay.
just practically and logistically, we're offering several of these 60-minute sessions. You're going to teach a couple of them. Our founder and lead teacher, Father Joe Mitchell, is going to teach a couple of them. And the ones that you're on for are August 15th in the morning at 10 a.m., in the evening at 7 p.m. Again, these are 60-minute sessions. Father Joe will be teaching some on September 5th, also 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. Folks can learn more at our website, earthandspiritcenter.org. I'm sure there will be a link included in this video. Again, it's free, but you do need to register. And so you can do that online. So we do have to limit the workshop size because of limitations of the classroom size, and those often fill up. So folks, we encourage you to put your foot in the water if you're not familiar with mindfulness.
Mhm.
Here's a great place to learn more and a great community to learn with. Thanks so much, Karen.
Thank you.